right, folks, well, welcome to How Does Yarn Do That? So it's about the Christmas tree and the fireplace. I'm John Osowski, and we are the principal designers and creators, although I want to acknowledge the Friends of Fiber and other folks who have donated their time, effort, even money to help make these things possible. So our agenda, Vanna, good. Our agenda. So we're going to give you a quick overview, talk about what inspired it, the making of, which is the bulk of it. Then I have a little bit on impact. So we've got some really cool results that have come out of this because it's been circulating online, etc. And then a little bit more about some other organizations in our area and questions and answers. So, all right. So we're going to start with the Christmas tree. All right. So Mike, do you want to go over some of the fun facts?
So the Christmas tree we put up, gosh, it was 3 years ago now. 3 years.
Well, I think 2023.
Yeah.
Well, it's the third year of it.
Third year. Let's put it that way.
Yep.
And it took us over 11 months to make. And it is 80% of reused materials that we had gathered over the years. It is approximately 11 feet tall. The base diameter is 6 feet. A 19-foot circumference. We did all the math. We used trigonometry to build this tree. Over 18 miles of yarn just in the tree itself, and over 600, I believe it's around 650 now.
Yeah, so when the tree started, I don't know if you can tell from the picture, it looks a little stressed. Like it goes kind of right. Yeah, it had a little bit too many cookies in the holidays, and now the skirting doesn't fit it. What we did is added probably, you're right, probably another 100, 150 squares to make the skirts bigger. So now it looks a little bit more full and relaxed.
Yes.
So,
but we did the math. We took one granny square, took it apart, counted the number of stitches in it, and then multiplied by the number of granny squares. It's over 150,000 stitches just in the tree itself.
Yeah. Not including the edging,
correct,
the topper, the tree skirt.
And then last year we added the LED lights, which I really think makes it pop.
Yeah. Yeah. Although I would really like to get a volunteer crew together and redo the lights so that they're warm lights instead of cool lights. But that's me. Okay.
Next slide.
Yes. All right. Some things we added in 2024, the gift box for food donations, which this year we're so thrilled has quite a bit of food in it. So that's awesome.
I think we've actually surpassed the first year.
I think we did. Yeah. And we have a crocheted menorah with insertable flames. So the librarians add a flame for every night of Hanukkah. And so we're trying to be very inclusive. And Mike, if you want to tell the story of the label.
Oh, no. The label is very special to us. It's a kind of an inside joke. Our local pizzeria, Ed's Pizza, we decided to get pizza one night, and I was digging through our cardboard collection looking for something to use, and it turned out to be an Ed's pizza box. So Ed's Pizza donated a little bit of something to the tree in the box.
Fun fact, it's all little Fallsian, yeah.
Do they know it, Ed? So we've yet to share that little.
Yeah. Oh, who knows? Maybe they do. I don't know. All right. So, yeah. There we go. So there are other examples of crocheted Christmas trees out there that are even bigger and grander, like this one in Italy that I absolutely adore. And there's one in Cape Town, South Africa.
As a matter of fact, just not to interject, but this was the tree that inspired us to make our tree.
It looked like stained glass.
Yeah.
We were just so taken by the idea, and I think I showed it to John one day, and I said, "Wouldn't it be awesome if we could do this?" And
Yeah.
that's where the idea came from.
And we did it a little bit differently. We kind of, I want to say we did a little Seussical the musical because I think all of our stuff has a little bit of a cartoony sort of effect. This tree, you can tell, doesn't have any of the icing on it. It's beautiful in its own right. Ours has the icing, and I kind of like it for our application a little better. But yeah, they're huge. 30 feet tall. Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Yeah. Well, maybe someday, we'll just get a building permit.
It's like it's got a wire.
Yeah. And so now the fireplace. This is the latest installation.
Not Van angry.
Oh, you're doing fine. This also took around 11 months to make, although I have to say we kind of like crammed for our
The
exams.
lion's share is the last 4 months.
Yeah, that's 4 months.
Definitely over 100 pounds.
Yes.
When John is the woodworker, right? He is very good.
Well, don't look too close.
John is very good with the wood. So he initially built the hearth first, and we brought it upstairs. And as I was carrying it, I was like, "This is too heavy." And they said, "Are you sure? Are you sure we want to do that way, honey?" And he was like, "Yeah, just in case, for safety's sake." And it turns out that we have had families end up sitting on that thing and taking
I
pictures.
didn't think so.
So I'm glad.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I got hell for that it was too heavy. But you know what it was? I was again reusing materials,
Yeah.
and it was 2x4s, and they're heavier than normal and super overbuilt in honor of my grandfather, who overbuilt absolutely everything. But I realized we couldn't feasibly do that to do the firebox, the 2x4s. The whole thing would be hundreds of pounds. So I broke down, and you'll see in a little while, got some new lumber, which the sticker shock was just unbelievable. So reuse things when you can. But yes, both new and reused material. A lot of the yarn, though, I think we did purchase because we
Yeah.
wanted a consistent.
Color palette,
Hmm.
etc.
Yep. Um, we want to also give some props to Carolyn Conti, who isn't here today, but she knitted the stockings, which are amazing.
They are.
All I did was give her a template and say, make them about this big, and voila,
Voila.
there you are. And we had some folks make mice. I think Patty Sklar's, one of her mice is up there. Mike did the Santa and reindeer mouse. I did the little cheese mouse. I thought, here's how these things happen. I was going to do a mantle clock, all crocheted and moving parts and all that. And then November happened. So I decided, no, it's going to be cheese because why?
Mice.
Cheese festival, and they're mice, you know? And I think that worked out. So
And if you come back to the library at some point when they're open, there are also several knitted or crocheted mice hidden around the library. So that's another little treat for you all.
yeah.
But yeah, just a lot of people coming together to make a lot of things.
Yeah, and the icing on the cake was the lighting. I think
Yeah.
that Mike was awesome putting all the LEDs in the fireplace because he's a theater person, so he knows how to light things. And I'm just so pleased that it happened. So
And many people have commented how realistic the lights look from until you get really close.
Right.
It really does look like a fireplace.
It does. We weren't sure whether we were going to do it at first, but it really does add an element of depth there.
yeah, the problem is it looks it looks like too much like a fireplace because now I've got people that didn't realize that wasn't actually a fireplace that was there, that they didn't believe that it was crocheted. Yeah. Hi, welcome. Come on in. Yeah, and the flames, yeah, they just add to that.
Yeah.
So, and then people think it's AI. Like, no, it's actually real. It's actually yarn. It's like, wow, we're in this really weird, we can't reality test in our society anymore. And this thing is at the intersection of that.
Right.
So, okay, next slide. There you go. Inspiration. Oh boy. Hey, we're doing it. So,
Oh,
yeah, go ahead.
okay.
I was going to say it was a gift. The whole idea is that it's a gift. Mike, why don't you take those three? I want to take the fourth one.
Okay. So before I get started with the first three, when John and I first met, we didn't know that we each crocheted. And then we discovered that, and I was like, wait, you crochet? I crochet. And we decided one Christmas to buy 2 hula hoops, duct tape them together, and make a Christmas wreath for our home. And that was kind of not necessarily the inspiration for the tree or the fireplace, but the inspiration for creating crocheted sculpture between the two of us. But the tree, the fireplace is essentially a gift for Little Falls because we just adore this community. There's so many wonderful people, and we just wanted to give back to the community. Obviously based on our shared skills, but also there's the sense of like innovating a traditional art form, right? Because you mentioned the word crochet, and a lot of people in their mind think, oh, that's a grandma craft. You know, that's something that old ladies sit around and do. And I can't do that. I don't want to waste my time. How is it practical? But there are so many beautiful and practical things that you can make with yarn. And we wanted to show people that it was possible to do something that wasn't an old lady craft necessarily. You can go ahead and take the floor.
And I have no problem with old lady crafts. I love old lady crafts. I think that's amazing. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have learned any of this. And, every tradition has a first time. And that's how I think about this. That's the innovation part of this, is even if you are doing something traditional, that doesn't mean it can't have a new life. And lately I've been thinking too, like especially with the fireplace is all about labor. And it's about inspiring the maker in all of us. Now, we don't all crochet or knit or make things like that, but maybe you make a meal, maybe you make a home, maybe you just do a really good job where you're at. Like just make in your life instead of being a consumer of your life all the time. That's, I think, part of what all of that is all about too.
Mhm.
So here's a little bit about the women that inspired us. There's my grandmother as an old lady. She wasn't always an old lady. I have pictures of her riding a motorcycle after World War II in Germany. She came to the US in 1950 from Poland right after World War II and worked in the Central New York textile industry and other factories for many years. And came from a long tradition of needlework. Her mother would embroider anything that would sit still. And we have paintings in our house that she embroidered. That you look at them, you think, oh, that's a really nice, it's painted. No, it's all stitches. And, so she taught me how to crochet, knit, embroider, quilt, everything. I kind of grew up with her. And that's her actually crocheting in the car, me going back to the airport when I lived in Portland. So that was Grandma Osowski.
And the next one, if I can get it to come up, is my grandmother. Now, mind you, this is her second marriage, picture from her wedding, and she is absolutely blasted. That was my grandmother. She was a bowl full of fun. So she introduced me to crochet because she was always crocheting, but I never really learned from her per se, but she did inspire me after her passing to continue the tradition of crocheting. She was the type of woman that would crochet everything in her home, just like John's grandmother. She had the strange dolls that covered the toilet paper and the shampoo bottles and the
My great grandmother had those too.
Yep. And she was constantly making something. And she knew right before she passed that she was going to, and she very quickly grabbed all the yarn in her home and she made me an Afghan within like 2 weeks. And I treasure that thing as if it is made of solid gold. But yeah, that's my grandma.
And so again, it's a way of bringing some beauty into the world, inspiring creative pursuits. And also, if you think about it, this is made of some very humble materials with a medium that most people think of as just I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? It's
Handicraft.
just a craft. It's not really in the world of art per se, but I think it is. So it challenges those distinctions. Like, what is art? What is craft? Why do we even need that distinction? Wealth and waste. We took these materials and elevated them, I think. And again, innovating new traditions.
And just to add to that, like very easy to go to Hobby Lobby, Michael's, Walmart, all these big box stores and buy decorations and put them in spaces. And it's beautiful, don't get me wrong. But when you hand make something, there's a power to it that really kind of is romantic, and
Yeah.
it takes your breath away when you see it. So
Yeah.
I think that really it adds a sense of worth to it that something you buy from a big box store just doesn't have.
Yeah.
That
There we go. Yeah, well, and to just this is a nice segue into this about the making of, if you think about like that Afghan that your grandmother made, their hands have been all over it. Without their hands, that thing wouldn't be there. And I don't want to get all wooey about it, but I really feel like when you make something, it's almost like you give part of yourself into the materials too. And so about making, why I'm thinking about this now is because people that have seen the fireplace have these reactions to it, like, how long did that take? How many stitches are in that? How much? Like they're really analyzing the labor. And I thought, aha, that's what we did. We made human labor visible.
And to add to that, I think currently we live in a society where everything is instantaneous. You
Mhm.
want to buy something, go to Amazon, you got it on your porch the next morning. But if you really want to invest in something, and this is an investment in us too. This is a project that we do together as a couple, as a married couple, to bring to the world. So it's not just the thing itself, but it's the love that goes into it. It's the community that gathers around it. That is what is truly beautiful about the making, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Definitely. And I also think of it in terms of, you know, folks don't approach a painting the same way. And I'm not dissing paintings. I think they're great.
I'm a painter myself.
Yeah, we're not dissing any other art form here. But they don't look at it the same way. It's not how many brush strokes went into that. You never
Right,
hear that
right.
question asked. But this fireplace begged that question out of some people. So it does. It's about making. So making a life versus consuming things, like I mentioned before. And I think we live in a world now where so much artificial intelligence may, it's going to be a revolution that maybe makes a lot of what we do redundant, or I we'll see. But this is a reminder that you have agency in this world now, and there are things you can do, even if it isn't making a fireplace out of yarn. You can still do something. So it's like a little candle for humanity, I guess.
Absolutely.
All right. So we're moving on to the basic concept. There we go. And Mike, why don't you take it away?
What do you think's inside?
Spoiler alert.
Toilet paper, right?
Yeah.
People have been doing this for ages. Like I explained, my grandmother did it, your great grandmother did it.
Mhm.
And they saw it not only as a utilitarian thing, right, to hide the toilet paper, but also as a thing of beauty. Even
Yeah.
though it's not that beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful in its own
In
way.
its
And
own time.
yeah, and the whole process is really no different than what we do. You're basically taking some kind of fabric that you've made and you're upholstering some solid form with it. You could almost look at the fireplace like a couch. It's got a wooden frame and you have applied fabric to it.
Right.
And it's so if I were to classify the art that we do, we make massive koozies. That's what this is. So there we go, the design process. All right.
Now it might be a little hard to see. No, that's pretty
Yeah,
good.
it's pretty good. Yeah, but my writing, you'll have to pardon me.
So just for some context, I am a mathematics teacher. I teach geometry at Proctor High School in Utica. And of course, my husband has a maths degree as well. So John really was the kind of the brainchild of the schematic, if you will. But we kind of got together and talked trigonometry, angles, and dimensions and what would look good, especially in the space because it's such a delicate space. We wanted to make sure that it was a perfect fit like a glove. And so you want to take it from there?
Yeah, and you're right about the space. These objects would not look the same outside of the context of that room. I'm so grateful
Yeah.
for the library to host this. And really complements the architecture. And we had some constraints. I don't know if you see in this picture, if this is early enough on in the design, it probably was. I thought we're going to make this thing as big as it's going to be 14 feet tall. And then because I had this vision that those ceilings I mean, my God, they made this house back when you could, I don't know, burn coal for nothing. It was no big deal to have tall ceilings. Well, the ceilings aren't as tall as I thought, and there's crenellation on them. So I thought, well, if you make it so tall you poke the ceiling, you'll have the historical society on your front lawn with pitchforks, and like, why don't you make it a little shorter? So we had to do that. And we picked a cone shape. You'll see some folks in Ireland have taken this design and run with it, but I really like their structure better than the one that I did. It is what it is. We have what we have, and this is the way we thought to do it. So there's 4 rings that support those 4 skirts of crochet.
And then 4 separate panels of crochet.
Yep. Same thing with the fireplace. These are some of the sketches that we made. And again, it just starts with a rough idea and a lot of measurements. The fun part of building this one, though, was that there's a very beautiful gilded mirror that's sitting at a certain height. And I was convinced like it's going to be 49.5 inches tall. That'll give us a couple of inches leeway. Well, my woodworking skills, not the greatest. So it got,
Layers of
yeah,
crochet.
well, layers of wood. And then, oh, we lost a few inches. Then the crochet goes in there. And I didn't realize, that that's an upholstery. It adds some height. And then you add the snow on top of the mantle. And then pretty soon you're well over 49.5 inches and you're freaking out. And we are that far short of that mirror. Like it was almost spiritually meant to fit there. So I am so grateful.
Yeah.
Okay. And so we have a little bit on the support structures. I crochet with power tools. All right. So again, if you look underneath, you will see these support rings. Every layer has a ring. And the bottom layer, which you see demonstrated over there, is how it operates. They hang and they're supported by the ring beneath. So it ended up looking like a wooden satellite when it was being made. And if you want to talk about our
Sure. So
organizational
the geometry
structure.
feature. This is a coordinate plane, and if you remember algebra back in high school, there's 4 quadrants, right? And we draw the letter C. We go 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, because we were going to take this apart and put it back together like a Lego many years in a row, we decided to label the 4 parts of the circular curve as quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4, as well as a positive y and negative y axis, and a positive x and negative x axis. Yes, we are nerds.
Yeah. Yeah. And we now know that, I think, what is it? Is it positive Y that goes into the room? Yeah.
Positive y is the front of the tree.
Yeah. But it's helped us to put it back together the right way because, again, my woodworking skills aren't that great. So every single piece only fits in one place. And then we don't have ceilings that tall in our house, so we really had no way of testing it. So we put it in our driveway, where it looked like a satellite, and our neighbors thought we were crazy. And then it started to come together, and that prototype there was enough for us to be confident that we could set it up.
Right.
We didn't really actually see the full tree until November 2023 when it was set up in there. So it was really kind of a leap of faith.
But just to add something here, like when we do these projects, we have a vision in mind, but we don't see it come together until all the parts are done. So when we went to go put this together in our driveway, we were praying to the crochet gods, thinking, did we do everything right? Are all the measurements right? Like, were we on point? And thank goodness it just worked out.
It worked out.
Perfect.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's the other thing too about crafting and about making. It is a compromise with reality. Like you have a vision, you can take measurements, but at some point, some material says, yeah, but I want to be this. Right. And that's a beautiful thing too. I think it gives you a sense of humility in the world. So, yeah. There's some more making of. There's the topper again, the koozie technique. These were styrofoam balls that I think were supposed to be Christmas ornaments that I gingerly chopped in half and covered with yarn. We wanted always a special thank you to Packet Gardens for donating the purple yarn for the star. It's in honor of the city, but it's also really kind of them as a local business to be a part of this.
Truly.
And there's the frame for the fireplace. So it might be a little hard to see, and just excuse the mess in my garage. It's horrible. But that was I bought much thinner stock lumber to hold up the firebox and the mantle. And it ended up getting covered with MDF, which is the kind of particle board that you put in the back of cabinets. And of course, I got the 1/2 inch kind, which made it heavier, but I'm like, oh, it's gotta last, it's overbuilt. But yeah, that is the finished thing to upholster. So yeah.
You can imagine coming home to this one, like, okay, now we got to cover it in yarn.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
There.
So we're making candles now, and I'm terrible with documenting our process. I just want to make stuff. I don't want to take pictures of stuff. So I stopped for a minute. I'm like, oh, I have to take a picture of what's under the candle. So there's a wooden dowel, take out containers, And then can you guess
Yeah,
what the actual candle is?
we didn't put any, like, we.
I
didn't
think someone
quantify it.
here knows what it is, but
Yeah.
they will be not
I
telling
would
it.
guess hand paper towel roll.
That's a good guess.
Both.
It's a good guess.
Anybody else?
Is that a Pringles?
You're
Oh,
close.
that's
You're pretty
even
close.
closer. Even closer.
All right, I'm just gonna reveal.
Yeah, reveal.
Okay.
Italian style.
Hey, no.
Right. Yeah, breadcrumbs. All right. And the crocheting. So now you have a thing to koozie, and this is the process. So this is actually the first square. When we decided we were going to make this, I did document that.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, this is square number one of, I thought it was going to be 300.
That's silly.
And then there's the bottom layer of the tree. And at this point, it was 19 feet long because, of course, that was the circumference. We're math people. Yarn people know that you don't just do the circumference. You gotta, there's ease, there's,
Yeah,
right. So now the bottom layer is 26 feet long.
Which is very different.
Yeah, or 23 feet long. It's over 20 feet, well into 20 feet long by this point. But yeah.
Yeah, that took a long time.
I thought I'd let you talk about that.
Used a sewing needle for like a long time, but you start to build up like calluses and scabs on your fingers.
Yeah.
I'm still missing layers of so.
Yeah.
But
And
it was worth it.
You think about how many ends there are too. Every color is 2 strands. And every one of these has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different colors in them. And there are 600 of them. So
Perfect.
yeah. So that was a lot of ends to sew on, honey. Thank you. I appreciate that. You're the best. I sewed in some too, but Mike did a lot of that. All right, so now we're starting to koozie. So if you notice, the mortar for the fire box and for the mantle is solid crochet. And all the bricks are individually, all the stones are individually sewn on in place. So again, a really tedious process. And again, it's, if you sew, like you were sewing on the table when you sewed ends in,
Right.
now you're sewing like this, like Michelangelo painting, but you're sewing like this. Right. Because we had to lift that onto the coffee table, onto the dining room table, just so that it was at a workable height. But then in the archway, you're kind of reaching up inside of the firebox to put things in. And it was not fun. That arch was my least favorite part of all of this.
I don't know the exact number of bricks, but I believe
It's a lot.
Somewhere around 175.
Yeah, it's a lot plus or minus 10. Yeah. So we had some help from our manager. He just encouraged me to crochet faster, meow. I think he thought that this was going to be his new little hangout spot. But we quickly filled it with crocheted logs. Yeah. Yeah. And the crocheted logs are all around PVC pipes. So that was kind of fun. Like, Dad, do you have any leftover PVC pipes?
Yeah, sure.
Sure, come get them. All right, and this is putting the stones on. I picked this picture because one, it was one of the few that we had, but two, it kind of shows how you can form things. So the cornerstones are actually L-shaped. And when you fold them around, like and you sew them up, they turn into little caps. So that's fun.
And I guess the reason we're showing you this is because every single step was a process of discovery, right? Like
Yeah.
we had no clue what we were doing.
Yeah.
No clue. But if like just talking it out, thinking it out, you figure these things out.
Yeah. And installation is the last part of it. So here's some.
This was the first year.
Yeah, the first tree raising. We're grateful for Mary that she's been there since the very beginning and understands how it goes together, coordinate planes and all.
And thanks to her, it goes faster and faster.
Yes, it does. It does. And she's there to like calm my perfectionism, and I really appreciate that. The most stressful part is where you see in the middle, where basically we have to hoist the top up first, but it has to go into a collar that sits on top of the base. And so therefore it goes up a little higher than the tree will actually be so that it can land inside of that collar. And that's always the worst part because right up there is the ceiling with all of the stuff, and there's a crocheted pointy thing. So,
That's just a giant
Yeah.
crocheted spear.
right, once that's in, we're happy, like, and then we can do whatever. Yep, and this is the finished product, and we kind of already went over the whole mirror controversy and how we managed to do it. But it all worked out.
It really did.
Yep. Yeah, well, we added this too. So I had this idea that I would have a mouse knitting a scarf that said Little Falls. And it happened. It was the all-nighter before setup because I thought, oh, I'm going to do duplicate stitch. The knitters here know what duplicate stitch is. It's basically you embroider over the stitches that you have, and it looks like it's knitted in there. Well, that takes a little while, and I ran out of time, so I just crocheted all of the letters and sewed them on instead. Which you think that's easier? Yes, that is. But those are real stitches that the mouse is holding. Of course, his hands are kind of sewn into it, which I kind of felt bad doing. It feels weird, but he's all right. He's fine.
And in
But-
the knitting and crocheting world, we call those live stitches, especially in knitting, because if those little needles come out, stitches will just unravel.
Yeah, there is a lifeline in there, so they won't really, but they could. Yeah, in theory.
You talked about the installation as kind of, it's a little bit of ad hoc and what happens, but the books.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't, the mouse was not gonna show, just sitting on the
Yeah.
shelf.
Right.
And also like most old pieces of furniture, wasn't even, I think it goes down in.
Yeah,
And
look at
uh,
that.
so
Yeah.
one of the library workers, well, let me go get some books, and it's just perfect.
yeah, go figure, we're in a library.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And that was supposed to be actually hanging from the mirror, but it was A, too heavy. B, the backside of the scarf wasn't finished the way I would have liked to, again, all-nighter. So this was, right,
Not for like
a solution. No, that's true.
Try to put the mouse up on the mirror, and the mirror tilted in a very precarious way, and we were like, no.
No. Historical Society, nope, we're good, we're
I
good.
want to be run out of town.
Yeah. But I actually like it there better. It adds something to that little corner.
Does.
And the letters too. They again, here's one of those happy accidents. If I had done the duplicate stitch, it would have looked like it was knitted. But crocheted letters kind of look like snow. So that was
And it
fun.
fits with the cartoony vibe that everything else kind of has.
Yeah, it does. All right. And so now we're on the impact part. We're almost at the end. Food drive. So every year that we've had this up, we've asked for food donations. I used to measure it by Prius fills, but I don't have a Prius anymore. So a lot of food. And this year we're so pleased. So if you think of it, the sculptures will be there till January 10th. Right, Julia? That's okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. So again, we kind of lay the track in front of the train. Tell friends to come, bring food as gifts. It all goes to Little Falls Food Pantry.
And this was our first year, I believe. Right?
It was the first year, yeah. And here's just some locations of visitors from around our region. I think we have more or less every town or city represented. Okay. And then further out, Massachusetts, Virginia, Connecticut. We had one as far as Montana. I imagine they were visiting family, so they didn't come all the way from
Just
Montana.
the tree.
Yeah, but we do know some folks that came from Long Island,
Mhm.
and they told us that we came just for this. So
This
That's
year we
pretty
got
cool.
an email from people out past Buffalo asking when it was gonna go up because they want to drive out to see it.
oh,
It's
that's
amazing.
wonderful. And again, that's another thing we want to do for the town. Like all the attention this brings some positive light on our little town, and how much we need that now, I feel like. So in our little way, we're working on it. Yeah. So here's some quotes from the guest book. Really kind words that were left. And we have some other ones we want to focus on.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Mike.
Yeah. So amazing. I made a stocking once and thought that was a lot of work. You go.
Yeah. That's fun. And then you get more serious things like this woman from Ohio wrote in that her mother had passed away in September and taught her how to crochet granny squares in high school. I think she'd be thrilled and a bit shocked if I took on a project like this. So it makes them think about people that came before.
My daughter, who doesn't crochet, also sent the Instagram link to me. I hope your work inspires many others to take their crochet and other skills to another level, and even to pick up a hook or needles for the first time. And when we did this, we didn't have any of this intention. We weren't in it for the fame, or quite frankly, the viralness that we went in our first
Yeah.
year. I think we got 1.2 million hits within like 2 months or something.
Yeah, it hit just the right Facebook arts and
Yeah.
crafts group.
I
and it
was,
just blew up.
yeah, it was shocking.
I would like to think that I'm a very humble, quiet, like at home type person. And to have people from Germany asking me for a pattern, I was just like shocked, in shock. So
Yeah, yeah. Same here. Some of the comments I couldn't even read because they were in Swedish or whatever. Yeah.
Right.
I'm hoping they were nice. Yeah. This one was from, I like this because it mentions all these different places. My friend in Godley, Texas sent me the tree with the story and photos. What a beautiful work of art. I just sent it to a friend in Boston. I love fiber and textiles. Used to live in New York and now live here in Tacoma, Washington. I knit, crochet, spin. Grateful to see your story with so many photos. It's now being shared really everywhere. Thank you. It's a present going around the world. And that is very humbling, if you think about it.
and touching.
Yeah. And
Thank you for your efforts in making a beautiful project for your community and for any tips you have to offer. I hope to hear from you. Happy Thanksgiving and enjoy the upcoming holiday season from Grosse Pointe Woods, Missouri.
Michigan.
Michigan, sorry.
Yep,
Michigan.
just outside of Detroit.
Um,
Yeah, and that's true. People have asked for patterns, and
Yeah.
we don't really have one. Like, it's sort of like you make a lot of squares and you just put them over something. So, yeah, the next one this I had a little bit more communication with. These folks were from a health project, community health project in Ireland, and they talked about like they wanted to make this as a community project in their for their center. And so they created a 12-foot tree. And I guess they put it together during a storm. And it was just amazing to have worked with them and share. I actually did share the pattern for the edging with them because I kind of remembered and could make that into something.
And actually, something that's really touching to me is that a lot of my family history is from Cork Island.
Isn't that
So
uncanny?
when I woke up that one morning and John was like, we got an email from Cork Ireland. I was like, okay, that's where all my family's from.
Yeah, that's
amazing.
Really cool. Yeah.
And you never wake up one morning and think, oh, I wonder if I'm going to inspire somebody halfway across the world. And then it happens and you're like, holy cow, what are we doing?
Yeah. And so this is a picture of them.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. And their tree. And I don't know if you can tell, but the edging is from Little Falls. And actually the pattern is too. And I love their structure. I just didn't make it like that because I wanted the tree to float, but I have some ideas about how to make it both. And
But we never have that.
yeah, I know. And this is the health project. I found their Facebook page. So really awesome. Kind people, and it's in Europe now. Most recently, we've had some folks emailing from just outside of Louisiana, I mean, New Orleans in Louisiana, Jefferson Parish. The woman in the middle is Drew. I was communicating with her because they really wanted to put it together for their library. And they did. They made it work in their own way. It was really, really sweet. And she sent this email.
Yeah. Really quickly, I just
yeah.
want to point out the Granny Square presents under the tree.
Yeah, I thought that was great.
If we had had leftover squares, I would steal that idea.
Yeah, they actually had people making squares. This was a community project, so everybody made squares. They had leftovers. Yeah. And a little story about the topper is that I guess they're the story of Mr. Bingle. So let's gather around the tree and learn about Mr. Bingle. Mr. Bingle was created by an employee of a store, Maison Blanche, which is now out of business. Dillard's bought it. I used to live down south. I remember Dillard's. And they continued making the doll. We buy one every year, so I had several for the topper. When I was a child in the 50s, I love this memory. Mr. Bingle had a puppet show on TV during the Christmas season. New Orleans loves Mr. Bingle. And if I could say anything to Drew, I'd say, well, Little Falls loves Mr. Bingle too. We're fans. I love it. So special thanks to the library, of course, first and foremost. You all have been so supportive throughout all of this. It was a crazy idea. I was worried about like, what if there's a lawsuit? What if the tree falls down? What if the LEDs catch fire? Because that's just the, I was built that way. But they've been great about it. The Rotary Club for the fireplace, they gave us a generous little helpful donation, went towards the wood and some of the yarn. Main Street First carries Friends of Fiber under their umbrella. Friends of Fiber meets here every week on Saturdays, and we continue to want to do projects like this in our town. We want Little Falls to be the town that loves yarn, so, and loves you too.